Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Beastly Eel, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the latest episode of The Boys, episode 4 to be specific. So, a lot of things happen. Homelander is getting ready to go to the base that he is assuming has the first generation of Compound V. So, he's going to go there himself. However, um, Sister Sage goes over to, or calls Soldier Boy into her office and basically exclaims what's going on, and he gets very defensive immediately, stating, "I don't get summoned, especially by somebody like you." And they go on this little bit of a tangent where she basically states that, "Hey, maybe you want to go and accompany your son, so that way you guys can both be together forever, as long as he gets the virus. I mean, as long as he gets the compound V." And he's just like, "You're right, I'll go." And goes and leaves. So Homelander and him decide that they're going to go to the base. We also find out that apparently Edgar is the one that told them about it. So the boys decide that they're going to go. So it's going to be all of them deciding that they're going to get there and pretty much try to stop the V from happening. So they get there first. So the idea is, though, the thought is that there's some sort of creature that is kind of there that hunts down anybody that gets too close to the building. So they get there, and the boys get there first. So they're on the outside. They're seeing all these dead bodies, and basically, what's happening is they are just people looking like they've just been either ripped open, attacked, just in general, right? As they keep going, they start arguing with each other for a minute, and Frenchie seems to be the one that finds it very odd that everyone's kind of fighting with each other. So they continue onward, and they get to this massive open area. So they were in these woods, and now they're not in this woods anymore. It's kind of like an open area right near the base. And there are animals ripped apart all over the place. And it's unclear as to what has caused it, because it seems like each dead body seems to have a different way it was kind of killed. And it's not like a clear or obvious thing of what happened to them. So they now go into the base and start looking around. As this is going on, they begin to argue with each other more and more, all except for Frenchie. Frenchie seems to be the only one that's not affected by whatever the heck is going on. So they are continuing to do all of this. And now they're going to start fighting each other. So it turns into Huey versus MM, which I thought was kind of funny. And then it goes Kimiko versus Butcher. And while this is going on, Frenchie's trying to stop them, but it's not working. He's realizing there's something in the air that is causing them to be so violent. And there must be some sort of fungus or something, because it's got to be the plant life, because there's no other way that it makes sense. So his assumption is the compound V got into the plants, and the plants are now causing people to get the pheromones in to kill each other, and then the plants eat them. That's his assumption. While this is going on, we have Homelander and Soldier Boy walking to the base. There's a lot of back and forth about the cape and everything else, about how it's stupid. And we find out that apparently when Soldier Boy was younger, Soldier Boy was nothing more than a weak second. Not because he's not the oldest, he's the middle child, I think, or maybe the youngest of a rich family, and that he had to basically buy his way into being getting the compound V. And then apparently, when he was injected with the compound V, they had to strap him down, and he wet himself, which is a very, very big like piece that is kind of demonstrating them connecting it to the comics, and why he, back when he was original, like before he was Soldier Boy and the person he is now, he was that scared little boy. And so anyway, there's a lot of arguing and everything else, and then Soldier Boy, tricks Homelander to go in one spot, locks him in, and turns on the radiation that gets him stuck inside the place. Now, one thing I forgot to mention was before they left, he basically told Firecracker that he's got to convince everyone that he's going to be God, and that he's going to be not serving God, but be God. And they're going to have to figure out how to do that. So anyway, while this is all going on, there, like I said, he's now in a chamber of radiation, and he's now feeling very sick. His powers aren't working like they were. He can't break out easily. His laser vision isn't working. And Soldier Boy then leaves. Excuse me. We then have Butcher, who finds Homelander, who's very happy to see him kind of choking on his own vomit and blood. So he's super excited to watch him struggle. And Homelander then realizes that he doesn't have the virus, and the fact that Ryan is alive, and that all of these things are happening because he is meant to be God. And that's kind of what his mentality is at this point. So during all this, we then have, like I said, this massive fighting between Kimiko's now going after Huey. MM is now running away because he saw what Kimiko could do to the pipe. And Frenchie finds out the source of why everything's kind of becoming a problem. So he tricks Soldier Boy into going after him and finds one of the doctors from the original grouping of, I guess, Gen 1 of Compound V. And it is one of the doctors who is now turned basically into a plant, and his pheromones make everyone hate each other until they kill each other. And Frenchie basically convinces Soldier Boy how weak and pathetic he is, and that this guy clearly thinks he's weak and pathetic, and that you're just going to let him stand by and do that. We then watch Soldier Boy use his radiation powers to blast the guy into oblivion, which causes everyone, and I mean everyone, to finally calm down and realize that they were wrong. So the boys get out of there, and Soldier Boy is just staring in front of what used to be the doctor, crying. While this is going on, they escape, like I said. Homelander breaks out, barely, goes over and sees that Soldier Boy is crying, and Soldier Boy is just like, just end it. Just do it already. Just put me out of my misery and get me out of here. And Homelander looked like he was going to do it, and then realizes it's not worth it and just leaves. So during all of this, Annie, aka Starlight, goes to visit her dad, who she finds out has a whole nother family, and that the son at the very least is a Homelander supporter, and that the father is a cop, but he doesn't believe in everything that's happening and all that stuff. And it gets to the point where the son hates his sister so much that he calls the cops on her, causes a big issue there, and he eventually, the family comes together and realizes that she is not as bad as the world thinks she is. And then she tries to just convince them that, and then she decides to leave them so they can have a normal life. And she flies away, and it was the first time her dad sticks up for her. And she realizes he does love her. It was just he didn't know how to deal with all the other stuff that was kind of going on. And she leaves them kind of where they are. So the boys kind of rekindle their friendship and everything else, and state that obviously the virus wasn't there anymore and it was taken, and the only person that they could think it could be would be Bombshell, is what I'm under the impression of. And that's the thought process there. So I guess the next episode is going to be them looking for this Bombshell. Now, the group, aka Ashley, Firecracker, the priest. Ashley and the priest apparently have a kinky relationship together, where apparently she gets to use all of her toys on him, and he just loves it. And apparently they need a stronger ball gag because it flew right out of his mouth from his screams. Firecracker comes in, tries to convince them that they're going to have to figure out how to get Homelander to be considered God. And they decide that they come up as a group together to kind of discuss, writers and everything else, to try to convince how they're going to do it. And the idea is to change the narrative, that Jesus himself is the problem, and that we need an all-American church, and the only American God we have is none other than Homelander, which is scary in and of itself. So Homelander is then announced not as God, but as that they're changing the name of the church to the Democratic Church of America, and that our one and only mascot should be Homelander. Homelander comes in, the halo is around him, the lights are on him, he's ready to say something, and he takes a deep breath, and the episode ends. So the next episode is for sure Homelander making the announcement that he is going to be God. And that once he becomes immortal, he expects everyone to praise him better than any god that they ever have in the past. And that's kind of the thought process that's going on there. Okay? Which is obviously a concern in and of itself, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there, right? So the idea is all that's going on. And that's going to happen. We also am going to assume that the boys are going to try to figure out where Bombshell is. Starlight joins back with the boys, realizing that she doesn't want to be away from them. She wants to help them as much as possible and see how that works. We're going to be seeing a lot of things. I mean, I don't know exactly 100% what's going to happen. There's still 4 episodes left, so a lot can happen in this short amount of time. So we'll have to wait and see what happens next. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you not? And why? And as always, if you like the content you see, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.